Over the holidays, I stumbled onto your website, and on it, I saw your comments about your family history. Now, you wrote that you were born in Budapest and you grew up under the Soviet communist oppression, including the Hungarian communists, and you said that your life was lived in fear of the secret police and that you had family members who were on the watch list of the regime, which is all pretty scary to Australian readers. And you said, quote, "There was no sense of safety. Our own government would rather jail us than protect us," end quote. And so it goes on to describe the struggles of living under a communist power. Now, it doesn't surprise me, given that, Andrew, that you have an interest in the sanctity, security and transparency of the US elections, and given they are meant to be the standard for the free world and an antidote to the growing communist regimes which are gaining power in the world. How important is public confidence in the US election result?
Well, I think confidence is pretty important, but confidence only comes from integrity. And the problem that the lack of integrity that has been demonstrated in the 2020 election makes it difficult to have confidence. I think unless you've experienced that kind of fear of the state, I don't think people can really appreciate, although unfortunately people are coming to appreciate it now in the post-COVID era, that when the state becomes a threat to the individual, that's the end of democracy and freedom. And the problem that I can see in US voter fraud is that increasingly there seems to be no self-control by certain elements in the political system. They're no longer bound by the kind of loyalty and honor that in the past have always characterized democracies, parties on all sides of democracies. Now, the 2020 voter fraud, which I've been banging on about, people have dismissed it, but when I present, the couple of people that I've asked have been unable to give me an answer that explains the discrepancy in which an emergent Joe Biden, emergent out of the basement, that is, got more votes than the saint Barack Obama, who had been so highly praised by the Democrats. And the figures, I'm not going to quote them now because people won't make much of them, but the point is that I've taken the 3 states where these figures, the actual voting figures that are ascribed to Biden and to Trump, make a mockery of the claim that there was no interference. I mean, it's absolute mockery. You can't imagine how Biden would have got, 39% more of the votes than Obama did. So never mind Trump. He got far more votes than Obama did. And I find that, unless I hear a good explanation, I find that difficult to believe. So that's an example of what I mean. And of course, that behavior exemplifies the behavior of totalitarian states. That's why Putin can get 97% of the vote, for example, and other authoritarian states likewise can manipulate the voting system.
Well, what worries me, Andrew, is that in a free democracy, you would expect that citizens can at least comfortably ask the question and demand some kind of transparent investigation if things don't look right, to at the very least reassure the public that yes, indeed, even though the result looked strange, it was correct. But we had social media giants deleting people who even dared to ask the question, and that is definitely a behaviour of totalitarian regimes, and it all left us with this bad taste in the air.